Resilience, the ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. Got to have it. It's going to happen, but man, we got to excel in it. The cracks of living life, playing in the NFL, fill them with gold, man.
It's week number 14 of this NFL season, and time for another edition of the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Inside the Globe Life studio here at the Star in Frisco, Bill Jones along with Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy as the Cowboys take on the Houston Texans this week. It's a noon kickoff at AT&T Stadium, and Coach, final game of a 3-game homestand, and things going well as you head into basically the final quarter of the season with a 9-3 record. You got to like the way the team's playing right now.
I definitely. I mean, there's no place like home. This is definitely we call this the end of the third quarter of the season. So it's important to finish off this homestand. Obviously, we played 2 really good back-to-back games. Really the last 3, we're playing the way we want to play. So this is another challenge in the Houston Texans. I mean, it's a challenge every week. I have a lot of respect for Lovie Smith. Of all the head coaches that I've gone against, Lovie's probably the one I've competed the most against. So, whether he was in Tampa and in St. Louis, and I was in New Orleans, and then Chicago and Greece. So, his teams play a certain way. So, we understand their record and everything else, and it's important for us to really take a big step and make sure we get this win.
You look at both sides of the ball. You're third in the league in scoring offense. You're third in the league in scoring defense as well. Things happen. That's the idea here, is to keep the other team from scoring and score as much as you can. You got to feel good about that.
No doubt. I mean, there's something that's really one of the key statistics I think you really got to track. When your offense and your defense scoring, ranks are less than 10 combined, that's a complimentary football team right there. So this is by design. Obviously, the way we're playing, the way we're running the football and doing things off of that, the way we're really stepping up, stopping the run, and letting our pass rush work. So we got to continue with our formula. We're going to be challenged. Teams are going to try to run the ball against us each and every week. This team is good, taking the ball away. That's something we need to do a better job protecting the football. We weren't at our best last week against Indianapolis. So this is important for us to get our play style, and most importantly, our Cowboys 6, our fundamentals tight and play with a lot of discipline. When
you look at the Texans on offense, reportedly they're going back to Davis Mills at quarterback, and here's a guy that was a third-round pick last year. He got thrown into the fire right off the bat. This is his 22nd start. He's actually 9 more starts than he had in his college career at Stanford, but you have a lot of respect for him, don't you?
I really like him. I liked him coming out. I thought he was definitely, obviously he had the injuries in college, but the things you look for in the traditional West Coast type offense quarterback, I thought he really fit the mold. So plays with a lot of instinct, very aware for a young quarterback. So I definitely think it's best for their team.
And they've got a young running back in Damian Pierce. How about your run defense? So Jonathan Hankins, I believe it was 5 tackles last week. You could see why you acquired Jonathan Hankins.
Oh, no doubt about Hank. He played really well. I think this is definitely his best game as a Cowboy. And frankly, handing out game balls this week was tough. I mean, we went back and forth between the safeties and the defense, the defensive tackles and the offensive line and so forth, because we try to just do one, per unit, offense, defense, special teams, and it was tough this week. But Hank was definitely one of the guys who was in the running.
Okay, Deron Bland, you give him out to rookies too?
Yeah, he got a game ball. Deron had just what a game. Not only with his interceptions, but he was all over the ball. He's contesting every ball thrown to his assignment. So very proud of the way he played last week.
Yeah, 2 picks, and then the play on the 2-point conversion as well, knocking the ball away too. For a rookie to come in and do what he's done, and you really need him now, right?
Oh, definitely. His instinct and awareness for a young player is definitely top notch. So, but he's more and more comfortable each and every week in the scheme. And you got to give these veteran safeties some credit too. The communication in that triangle right there is exceptional. So. But yes, Deron's doing a heck of a job for us.
All right, we're just getting started on this edition of the Mike McCarthy Show. Up next, it's David Moore, the Dallas Morning News.
The Mike McCarthy Show, presented by Reliant, is brought to you by AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Ford F-Series, the best-selling truck in Texas. The University of North Texas, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. It's Miller time. And by Reliant, an NRG company.
Welcome back to the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Inside the Globe Life studio, Bill Jones now joined by David Moore, the Dallas Morning News, Sports Day, DFW.com. And early in the week, yes, David was following the circus as it came through town. Odell Beckham Jr. in town for a 2-day visit. David, I assume you were not one of those at the AAC chanting OBJ, OBJ, though, right?
Well, I was hoping to score one of those courtside seats right next to the opponent's bench. Wasn't offered that either. But, you know, the thing about when a circus comes through town, just because it leaves doesn't mean it didn't leave something behind. And now everyone is wondering, how is this going to work out? His tour is over. He visited the New York Giants, Buffalo Bills, and Cowboys. Now all of those teams are trying to determine, okay, what makes sense and what works. And the context that's a little different, I think, after this tour than before was, it's very clear now that all of those organizations are dealing with the idea that, look, it doesn't appear he's going to be able to contribute at all during the regular season. We're talking about the potential of what he could give us in the postseason. So how does that factor in with what he wants and what we want, and how much of this is pointed toward the future with still being able to help us right now? And so I think it changed probably the parameters of the discussions of those teams a little bit.
You know, we talk a lot about wide receivers because of this visit, but now you look at the cornerback position for this team, and I could make the case even before the trade deadline when Jordan Lewis went down with an injury. That was a position, if they suffered another injury at cornerback, which they now have with Anthony Brown, Kelvin Joseph needs to start playing like a second-round draft pick that he was last year.
Yeah, not just another injury, like you say, a starter. And now with Brown and Lewis, that's 2 of your top 3 corners who are gone from that secondary now. Kelvin Joseph was drafted last year in the 2nd round with the idea that he would challenge and potentially move Anthony Brown out of the starting lineup. It hasn't worked out that way. Now, this is an opportunity for him to show how much better he has gotten since he's been here. Very rocky rookie season. Internally, I think people questioned his commitment and his professionalism. By all reports, he's done a much better job of that this year. Has been outstanding on special teams, but they did not draft him in the 2nd round to be outstanding on special teams. They need to see him help this defense. He's going to have that opportunity to step up, and other players on this team have stepped up in these opportunities this season. Will he follow suit?
And of course, earlier in the week, the Cowboys did sign a veteran corner, Mackenzie Alexander, to the practice squad. All right, playing a Texans team, coming off a game in which you led 21-19 after 3 quarters, but ran off 33 points in the 4th, and now playing a Texans team that's only scored 188 points all season, and this team scored 198 in the last 5 games.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're saying you may want to overlook them a bit, is what its natural inclination.
Going to test the maturity of this team.
Well, you know, it's interesting. Earlier this year, I believe it was going into the game with the Rams where Dallas was an underdog. Mike McCarthy made the proclamation, we're nobody's underdog. They're certainly not this week. They're more than a 2-touchdown favorite here. And that has been the message to the team this week. Bill Parcells often talked about don't eat the cheese. Mike McCarthy incorporated that message as soon as the team got back off of that game and was told actually today going in, on Thursday, they were greeted with a video of Irvin Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan going at each other in practice during that Dream Team days. And Mike McCarthy's message is, look, the best competition I've been around in my career has been at practice when teams are driven. This is what we're doing. This is what we need to focus on. It's a message that you get all week leading up to the Texans game.
All right, David Moore, we appreciate it. Up next here on the Mike McCarthy Show, Will McClay joins us, and we take a look at some of those players on that Texans team.
This segment is brought to you by Blockchain.com. Trusted by millions. Trusted by America's team.
Welcome back to the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. And here inside the Globe Life studio with the telestrator out is Will McClay as we give you an up-close look at some of the weapons the Texans have, both on offense and defense. And how about, by the way, there's another running back that the Cowboys are facing this week. This time it's the rookie Dameon Pierce.
Yeah, Dameon Pierce is one of the top leaders in rushing. And what he does is his yards after contact is a big deal. Take a look at it here. All right, you're going to see he's got vision, he's got patience and all that stuff, but when he gets the ball in his hand, angry runner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 guys to bring him down. We're going to have to rally to the football. Just take another look at it. Here it is on another run here. They're going to pin and pull. Now he gets in the secondary. He's an angry runner, and you got to be ready to tackle him, so we got to have bodies around us. 1, 2, DB comes in with a half-hearted hit. 3, 4, 5 guys trying to get him. So it's a team effort. We're going to have to tackle him.
And he's on pace for a 1,000-yard season his rookie year there with the Texans. How about the wide receivers? They got a big one, second-year guy, third-round draft pick out of Michigan, Nico Collins.
6'4", 215 pounds, runs a 4.4. Really crafty route runner here. They condense the formation. Just look at his size and speed. They're going to get off. You're going to get off on the snap here. He's going to widen to move the safety, and he's got deep, and he's a deep threat. He's averaging 13 yards a catch.
All right, we flip over to defense, and when you look at this defense, they've got some athletic guys on defense. How about we give some love to the TCU Horned Frogs? 34-year-old Jerry Hughes, former high school running back, did it at TCU and now done it for about 12 years in the NFL.
And can still play. We're going to take a look at him here. Yeah, variety of moves to rush the passer. Got to be alert for that. Play action, and he's still got the ability to spin, do things to get to the quarterback. Now, not only can he do that, but you got to give him credit. He's an undersized guy, but his ability to play the run. Going to look at him. It's a little movement in their defense, ability to be able to stem, penetrate, and then get vertical, and then tackle a 250-pound back one-on-one.
All right, and Jerry Hughes with 8 sacks on the season. They've got a rookie at linebacker out of Alabama who, by the way, was a high school wide receiver, runs a 4.4. That's an example of that speed they got on defense. Christian Harris.
Speed on defense, movement, and you got to have guys that can run through gaps and make plays. Just take a look at that 4.4 speed right there.
Oh.
Yeah.
He got there in a hurry.
With speed and collision, things we got to contend with on the offensive and the defensive side with this team.
All right, Will McClay, we appreciate it. And the coach rejoins us next here on the Mike McCarthy Show.
This segment was brought to you by Blockchain.com. Trusted by millions. Trusted by America's team. This segment is brought to you by WinStar World Casino and Resort, the casino of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back to the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones with Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy here in the Globe Live studio. Coach, you touched on it at the outset of the show. You go way back coaching against Lovie Smith in your career. Of course, he was in Chicago from 04 to 12 prior to that with Tony Dungy and Monty Kiffin, the Tampa 2 defense. What can you expect out of a Lovie Smith coach defense?
Well, he's definitely from that family, but I look at his Chicago teams. They were a real challenge. And it started with defense. Urlacher, Briggs, Peanut, Tillman, and Devon Hester, Devin Hester. My goodness, I didn't sleep very, very well the night before we played those guys. So defense, special teams, field position, just in their ability to take away the football. So you can see that in the Houston Texans. You can see the carryover. The thing I've always respected about Lovie is whether we were competing against each other down in the NFC South or in the NFC North, all his defenses played the same way. And I think that's a true compliment to a coach. When a coach can coach at different teams, different locations, and there's such a similarity in their play style. So I think that definitely points right back to Lovie Smith.
Your offense playing with a lot of confidence right now, scoring a lot of points. We talked ball distribution last week, and you're up over 80% again this week as far as runs as well as completed passes. You even go back to the first drive of the game, which was a touchdown pass, and what a great run after catch by C.D. Lamb. But on that drive, it was 8 runs in a 12-play drive. Mixing the run and the pass has really been something that's been impressive here.
Oh, definitely. And I think, like, at the end of the day, so much is made about run and pass. I've always felt that you have to get the ball to your playmakers, and 2 of our best players on offense are our running backs. So I mean, Tony and Zig need to touch the ball. So I don't care if we kick it to them, roll it to them, hand it to them, throw it to them. But I mean, it's just that mindset. So, and no different with CD and our perimeter group. You know, Dalton, the whole crew. So, and I think Dak is doing an exceptional job. I mean, just look at the numbers this past month. You know, particularly how we're getting that ball distributed.
So how good is it seeing a big number 77 out on the practice field? Tyron Smith, the 21-day window opened this week.
Just impressive. I mean, you're never not impressed when he's on the field. So it was great to have him out there this week. So he's making progress, and you know, we just got to get him as much padded work as we can here, and hopefully get through a full week next week, and then we'll see where we are.
How about how well your offensive line is playing? We've talked a little bit in previous weeks about Tyler Smith. I want to focus in on your center, Tyler Biotish, and your right tackle, Terrence Steele, and how well they're playing.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at those guys being in their third year. You just got to give a lot of credit to Joe Philbin and Jeff Blasco, and just really the whole group. You got excellent leadership in there with Zach Martin, but Tyler and Terrence. You just look at the way they've improved each and every year. They're coming into their own now. They're playing with tremendous amount of instinct and anticipation. And they play the right way. And you just look the way their bodies have changed each and every year. So, just really happy where those two guys are.
You're focusing on one guy on the Texans defense, a veteran guy, 34-year-old Jerry Hughes out of TCU. He's had a couple of 10-sack seasons in his career, and he's on pace again this year. He's got 8 sacks.
Jerry has not slowed down since he left TCU. That's no doubt. I've always been a fan of Jerry's. I remember when he came out, we were in a 3-4 defense. He was definitely very, very high on our list. During the draft process, and had an excellent career up there in Buffalo, and he's playing at a very high level now in Houston.
All right, we wrap up this edition of the Mike McCarthy Show in just a moment.
This segment was brought to you by WinStar World Casino and Resort, the casino of the Dallas Cowboys.
You can get your holiday photo with Santa Claus. Santa will be at his Cowboys-themed cottage in the Star District, across from Ascension through Christmas Eve. Book your visit during this show and save $5 with code STAR5. Visit thestardistrict.com/Santa for more info. Final couple of minutes here of the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy, and this is when I typically present an unsung star, and there's so many that you could go with on this team, but the guy I want to focus in on is Anthony Brown. And of course, Anthony goes down with the Achilles injury in the game on Sunday, and really, you look at his career. It's a 6th-round pick coming out of Purdue in 2016. He's sort of been an unsung guy outside the building since then, but I know he's so well respected inside the building and has played so well when he's gotten the opportunities. He's got a lot of opportunities here lately in his career.
No doubt, and I think playing opposite of Trayvon, he played with each and every week with some opportunities, but Anthony is so consistent, so steady. He's missed already. Obviously everything went well with the surgery, but yeah, it's disappointing when you lose your guys. Him and Jay lose so far this year, but I can't say enough about Anthony Brown. Just an outstanding football player, but even a better man.
And the way things look now at the cornerback position, obviously Kelvin Joseph came in when Anthony went down, and we talked about Deron Bland as well, and so it's next man up.
Yeah, definitely. Our young guys got to step up. Kelvin, obviously, Deron, and then you got Nashawn. He's been practicing extremely well. So it's time for our young players to step up. You and I have had this conversation time and time again. You try to get the young guys playing early. Because these times are coming. It's December, and unfortunately, it happens. Almost every year that you're going to have young players that have to be ready to play in December, and we're definitely at that point this week.
All right, well, good luck against the Texans on Sunday. We appreciate it, Coach. We appreciate all of you joining us as well against the Cowboys and the Texans, a noon kickoff at the stadium, and we'll see you again next week on the Mike McCarthy Show.
The Mike McCarthy Show, presented by Reliant, was brought to you by Blockchain.com. Trusted by millions, trusted by America's team. Ford F-Series, the best-selling truck in Texas. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. It's Miller time. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.